He said it casually, almost jokingly, as if the words carried no weight. My husband laughed and said, "I can't stand it even for a year." But it's still with me. The room went quiet, but he didn't seem to notice. To him, it was just another comment. To me, it felt like something fragile inside me cracked. We had been married for 7 years, long enough for habits to replace romance and routines to replace effort. I knew we weren't perfect, but I believed we were stable. Hearing him speak that way made me wonder when stability had turned into silent resentment. I tried to laugh it off that night, pretending I hadn't understood what he meant. But the words replayed in my head while we lay in bed, facing opposite sides. He fell asleep quickly. I stayed awake, staring at the ceiling, questioning everything. The next morning, he acted normal, asking about breakfast and work as if nothing had happened. I watched him carefully, searching for signs I had missed over the years. Was he always this careless, or had I just chosen not to see it? Days passed, but the comment stayed with me. It followed me to work, to the grocery store, even into conversations with friends. I started noticing how often he dismissed my opinions or brushed off my feelings with a joke. One evening, I finally asked him what he meant by that sentence. He looked surprised, then annoyed, as if I were overreacting. He said I was too sensitive and that he was just kidding. That response hurt more than the comment itself. It told me my pain wasn't important enough to take seriously. I realized then how often I had swallowed my feelings to keep peace in our marriage. Instead of arguing, I went quiet. I began focusing on myself, my job, my health, my happiness. I stopped trying to please him or seek validation from someone who didn't value it. He noticed the change slowly. He asked why I was distant, why I didn't talk as much anymore. I told him I was tired, which wasn't a lie, just not the full truth. Weeks later, he made another careless joke in front of friends. This time, I didn't smile. The silence that followed was uncomfortable, and everyone felt it. That night, he confronted me, saying I was embarrassing him. For the first time, I didn't back down. I told him exactly how his words made me feel and how long I had been carrying that pain. He laughed at first, but when he saw I wasn't joking, his expression changed. I think that was the moment he realized I was serious, that something had shifted. I told him I didn't want to be something he couldn't stand, but kept around out of habit. I wanted to be chosen, respected, and loved intentionally. For days, we barely spoke. The distance between us felt heavier than ever, but it also felt honest. I was no longer pretending everything was fine. Eventually, he apologized, not dramatically, but sincerely. He admitted he had become careless with his words and complacent with our relationship. I listened, but I didn't rush to forgive. Trust doesn't rebuild overnight, and I needed him to understand that. We started having real conversations again, the kind we hadn't had in years. Some were painful, some uncomfortable, but they were real. I learned that staying silent had protected him, not me. Speaking up, even when my voice shook, gave me strength I didn't know I had. Our marriage didn't magically become perfect, but it became more honest. And honesty was something I refused to live without anymore. Now, when I think back to that sentence, I don't just hear pain. I hear the moment that forced me to choose myself. Whether our future lasts another year or a lifetime, one thing is clear: I will never stay where I am merely tolerated again.